I'm a dude, 27, and I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 26, for a long time, 10 plus years. We've been living together since 2019. Initially, we both worked and both our parents helped us with household expenses. I suggested living together because I got a permanent job and was earning well, much more than her. Combining our salaries and parental support, we could live comfortably. At the start of the pandemic, she left her internship as she graduated, and given the chaos, we agreed she wouldn't rush to find a job, especially since she was very dissatisfied with her field. At the same time, her mother couldn't help anymore. Fortunately, I had received a raise and my parents' help wasn't needed anymore. I could support the household just fine. The plan was for her to improve in the new field she wanted to pursue while the chaos of the pandemic passed. After some time, she found a job. She earned much less than me, but that was never the issue for me. What mattered was that she contributed however she could. On the other hand, she experienced burnout and was not well, so she decided to quit. And I supported her because I saw it was harming her and I could manage financially. That was in 2021. Since then, she has done odd jobs, made some money, but nothing substantial. She's been in therapy to help, but honestly, I see little progress. Honestly, I'm tired of funding everything. I earn well, but I can't live at the standard my salary or efforts afford because I have to support both of us. I've raised this a few times about the necessity for her to find work to help at home. Still, I always make it clear it's not urgent and that I don't want to pressure her. Then I feel bad afterward. I also see the importance of her having her own source of income, just in case something happens to me. I feel that if the roles were reversed, it would be seen as me being lazy and people would incentivize her to leave me. But because I'm a man, it's somewhat overlooked by colleagues, family, and even by me, maybe. I don't know what to do. I can't imagine life without her. At the same time, I feel used and I honestly don't see a clear future. I submit this plea to this court. Am I a jerk for having these thoughts? Am I a jerk for pressuring her to get a job? Am I a jerk for feeling unsatisfied with my girlfriend?
Hello, Sai here. I'm surprised that the table only showed 5 full votes. People on Reddit can be quite heartless. I completely understand how he feels in this situation. In a way, he's being used. But it's not possible to know if she has ill intentions. It's actually hard to judge him here. Because he hasn't done anything yet, he's asking for help on what to do next. And if the way he's feeling is wrong, I believe I mentioned this in the past. We don't judge what people feel. We judge what people do. This is reflected in the comment section to such an extent that he made an update to his original post. Let's see what he said and what people commented.
You are the fool, and I've been there too, from 25 to 30 years old. I spent a lot of time and money, compromised a significant increase in wealth to understand that a husband is not a father. Today, in my second marriage, after I divorced and sought someone more compatible, I can say that life has prospered infinitely better. Reflect and get out of there soon.
Friend, unfortunately, you have a freeloader at home. She works for a few months, has a burnout, and has been sitting at home doing nothing for years. People need a reality check. In short, you now have a common law relationship with someone who is becoming irrelevant in the job market over the years. In case of a separation, get a lawyer ready to negotiate alimony for her.
Man, you answered yourself. You have every right to feel dissatisfied with the situation, even with the traditional setup of you working while she stays at home. However, she's not completely complacent. Therapy is challenging and should be actively pursued. How have you been supporting her in this process, apart from showing understanding towards the situation?
Look, I try to help with interview tips and career advice with what little I know. I've even paid for courses and such. How do you think I can help more? I do acknowledge her effort, you know? Every time I go to her room, I see her looking for a job, updating her portfolio. But after 2 years of stagnation, I lost a bit of hope.
But are you also providing emotional support? Or just offering job and career advice? Because emotional support, not just financial, as you mentioned, you've already been providing, and that's super important. However, If that doesn't work, I think you have two options: be firmer and assert yourself more, or end it. It's important to be there for the person you love when they're feeling down. But there are times when we have to set boundaries too.
The issue is that now you have a challenge to face because pressuring may not have the effect you desire. What is her field? What kind of jobs is she looking for? Another factor is that finding a job hasn't been an easy task. I found your text somewhat contradictory at times because you tell her that it's not something urgent, but at the same time, it's causing you discomfort. Be honest with yourself and admit that this situation makes you uneasy. Now, think about the possibilities if this continues. What do you plan to do? Break up with her? Stop living together? It's a very complicated situation.
Field of arts. It's a challenging area to find something in. But honestly, in her position, I might also be more bothered and would look in other areas, you know? Maybe she hasn't found something due to being too selective. However, as I'm writing this and considering what you've written, maybe I haven't made clear the importance or urgency of the situation. In the end, like everything in adult life, the solution lies in communication. Thank you.
So, urgency eventually arrives. You told her there was no rush for her to find a job because she needed to take care of herself and so on. But the way you're feeling and the doubts you have show that there is urgency indeed, because it's wearing you down and affecting your relationship as you silently suffer, and it will turn into resentment over time. Managing a household alone nowadays isn't easy, even with a high salary, and to work so hard and not be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor is incredibly frustrating. Soon enough, you might be the one experiencing burnout, and then what will happen? Be honest with her, man. Bring up this topic again and tell her you're concerned or frustrated because you can't enjoy your money. And on top of that, you're constantly under pressure with the entire household resting on your shoulders, and you can't slip up or rest, or everything will fall apart.
Man, the situation is really tough. I'm the one who earns the least at home, and it's quite complicated. My wife pays for many extra things, and I feel really bad because I'm changing careers and all, but I'd really hate to focus without my own income. I would never agree to that. Talk to her that this is starting to bother you. Sometimes she might think everything is fine and it's not actually.
Thank you to everyone who shared their opinions. Some comments have helped me see the problem more clearly. I believe what I have to do is simple but difficult. I need to have a conversation with her, involve her in the financial planning. Someone mentioned this, and I think it's a good idea so she can see that everything isn't easy. Show her that this genuinely bothers me and come out of the conversation with a plan if finding a job in arts isn't possible, looking in other areas. Something like that. Thank you for helping me see that neither of us is the jerk here. I already knew she wasn't, but having the validation that maybe I'm not either is important to validate my feelings.
Well, I also want to point out that it's unfair to judge the girl's burnout. The first time I read it, I also thought, wow, she worked for a couple of weeks and already had a burnout. But this was in 2021, at the middle of a global quarantine. Everyone had some psychological issues to face at that time. It would be odd if she was fine like nothing had happened. I have no idea what kind of work someone with an art degree can find, besides being a teacher, but I'm sure that she is in need of some help, just like he is, and this help she can get from our sponsor. No, I'm kidding. We don't have one of those, but she does need help to find a purpose in life. At least that's what I think. But what about you? Let me know how you evaluate this situation.